Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, July 12th. We will continue with heat across the Great Basin over the next several days and also a return of moisture increasing thunderstorm activity this week. Today we will see isolated dry thunderstorms move over eastern Nevada and western Utah. These thunderstorms again will be on the drier side with gusty outflow winds expected and low relative humidity. Further east, these storms will be a mix of wet and dry into Utah. As we move into Wednesday, we will see winds pick up over southern and eastern Nevada, and thunderstorm activity likely moved a little bit further east, still be a mix of wet and dry across Idaho into western and northwest Nevada. These thunderstorms will also be moving a little bit faster on Wednesday. Today they will be fairly slow moving, but still only be producing light amounts of precipitation under the cores. Tomorrow, as storm speed picks up, we will see a better chance of gusty outflow winds and also again a mix of wet and dry storms. As we move into Thursday, most of the activity will be pushed a little bit further east into Utah, with some gusty winds along the Sierra front into northern Nevada and still some breezy winds over parts of eastern Nevada as well. So the main risk over the next couple of days will obviously be the lightning and the threat of new starts, with gusty outflow winds affecting new starts as well as all of our existing incidents over eastern Nevada into western Utah. Over the last 24 hours, we did see some isolated thunderstorms over southern and eastern Utah. Most of these thunderstorms only produced light amounts of precipitation, with some local areas seeing low-end wetting rains. Great Basin fire activity was light yesterday across the Great Basin, with 12 new fires reported, and all of these remain on the small side with minimal growth to our large fires. Over the last 7 to 14 days, very dry conditions have continued over Nevada into western Idaho and even over parts of eastern Idaho and northwest Utah. The only wetter spots have been over eastern Utah. Currently, our ERCs have increased significantly due to this very warm and dry conditions we've seen recently and are near or at record highs for much of eastern Nevada into western Utah where we have our large fires. The satellite loop from this morning shows a ridge of high pressure dominating the Great Basin. This ridge will remain in place with very hot temperatures, and also that moisture has already pushed further north into eastern Nevada and western Utah, as you can see by some of the cloud increasing. We will see areas of lightning obviously develop where we see that moisture in place today. As we move into later today, again, you can see the moisture over the eastern half of the Great Basin. We do have high risk for this thunderstorm risk over the Arizona Strip into southern and western Utah and also over eastern Nevada. Relative humidity will remain low today. Again, we are expecting these thunderstorms to be on the drier side, or at least a mix of wet and dry. You can see from the image on the right where we are expecting that lightning activity, so gusty outflow winds and new starts are certainly likely. We'll also see a few isolated thunderstorms over parts of western Nevada along possibly the Pine Nuts into the Sierra front. Again, that activity will be fairly isolated, but certainly will be on the drier side with gusty outflow winds, although these storms will also be relatively slow moving. As we move into Wednesday, we will continue to see moisture in pretty much the same areas, maybe a little bit further east into Utah. Could see a few isolated strikes in far northeast Nevada along the Utah border, but for the most part, our high risk will be over western and northwest Utah into southern Idaho. Thunderstorms, again, on Wednesday will be mainly focused further east. We still could see that isolated activity in northeast Nevada. Also, winds will be picking up over southern and eastern Nevada, so these storms will be a little bit faster moving. So a better potential of some severe weather also with these thunderstorms, as well as dry lightning and gusty outflow winds. Also, as these winds pick up over parts of eastern Nevada, this will be in areas that we will see lightning today, so we could see some holdovers with that breezy and dry conditions. On Thursday, most of the lightning will be focused into Utah and possibly Wyoming and eastern Idaho. We don't have any high risk on Thursday, as many of these areas that will see lightning on Thursday will have seen lightning over the next couple of days, so fuels may moisten up just a little bit with some increases in humidity and some local areas of wetting rains. We will continue to watch this western fringe in northwest Utah and eastern Idaho. So again on Thursday, the better chances of thunderstorms will be over the eastern portions of the Great Basin. Again, we'll continue watching this western periphery for any additional high risk, but right now it looks like most of the activity will be further east or very isolated on the western extent. Winds will be also breezy across much of Nevada into northwest Utah on Thursday, with most gusts in the 20s or right around 30 miles per hour. So not quite high risk, but again, with recent lightning activity, we'll be watching for the possibility of holdovers. Temperatures will remain hot this week. We'll see valleys today over 100 degrees across all areas over the Great Basin. May see some cooling on Wednesday, but still only pushing temperatures back down into the upper 90s. 3-day forecast amounts of precipitation. Obviously, any precipitation would be mainly focused where we have thunderstorms in the higher terrain of southern and central Utah. Anything further west will be very spotty. As we move into the end of the week and this weekend, thunderstorms will still continue across Utah and the far eastern sides of the Great Basin. As you can see, fuels should moisten up, especially over eastern and southern Utah, but still remain drier on the western side. Similar pattern for Saturday, and possibly by Sunday into Monday, we might see moisture return again over eastern Nevada up into Idaho. So we could see some high risk initially. However, we might see some additional moisture as well. So we'll continue to watch that. Right now it's a little bit too far out to really pinpoint where the thunderstorms and the moisture will be located at that point. 7-day forecast amounts of precipitation, not a whole lot different than the 3-day. And the 8 to 14-day outlook, taking us from July 19th through the 25th, still shows the precipitation with the monsoon in the Four Corners area, but drier and warmer conditions along northern and western areas of the Great Basin. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.